Grace and peace, family. It's Darius Dior again. I'm coming back to you this time just to kind of clear the air with some things. Somebody jumped in my inbox and I can't find the message anymore. But this person jumped in my inbox and they asked me a specific question. They asked, I see that you made a transition from the world to doing kingdom music. And they would specifically ask, and I'm paraphrasing, how do you make the transition? Like, how do you go from the world to doing kingdom music? How do you become a kingdom artist? And I wanted to have a conversation with that person. And I told them to call me because I was in the gym and I needed them to talk to me on the phone so we could talk about it. Because my heart was immediately in a place of, I was sensitive to the spirit on this. You know, I didn't want to make it a simple answer. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and address this now. So I hope this video finds you. Being a kingdom music artist and asking me that, I just want to first of all say thank you for asking me, because I'm not the best kingdom music artist or the best model to even follow in terms of asking that question. But what I can specifically say is that there's a war going on out for your soul. There's the kingdom of darkness and there's the kingdom of light. And the world is doing everything at a high level. And there's millions upon millions of people being influenced every day in the direction that's out of the will of God for their lives. And I want to just encourage you, whoever you are, well, I know who it is, and I'm gonna just keep your name anonymous, but I just want you to know that this is a war, literally a war between light and dark. And the world's not gonna stop making music at a high level, making content at a high level to get you on the other side. Not everybody is out here serving the Lord or on their way to the kingdom, but you're invited. And the finished work of Christ is already done. It's just our responsibility and our job to accept that work and live our life out through that work, right? So it's not by your own merit, it's not by the sweat of your own brow, but by the work that Christ has done already. And to be honest, the most difficult thing to do in becoming a kingdom artist or doing rap ministry or just doing, music ministry in general is keeping the faith. You know, what I've seen since I've been doing this, artists will want to do features with you, want to do songs with you, but they life jacked up. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get themselves together, trying to figure it out. And we live in a capitalistic society that has no feelings for you. I'm talking about a capitalistic society that says you either going to pay the bill or you're not. And trying to do ministry while you're doing that at the same time is tough. So I would say just keeping the faith is the most key thing for you. Is if you could just stay in the Lord, you know what I'm saying, and not fall into apostasy, would be number one. Number two is financial literacy. If you could figure out how money works and how your finances need to be managed in order for you to be an artist in general, because the standard answer to this question is knowing how to market yourself and tell the story behind your music, but then at the same time, understanding the importance of content and how key it is. Now, you have to ultimately decide, are you really gonna walk out what it is that you make music about, right? And so for me, I've been really walking it out. And what comes with walking out your faith is warfare. Like I said, a war is going on. That warfare means that the entities in the air, the kingdom of darkness is conspiring against you, trying to kill you, trying to make you sick, trying to attach you to people and things that are not for your good. But all things that, are working in your life is ultimately for your good. At the same time, you got to know what it looks like. So if it gets tough, if you start feeling beat up, if life start beating you up, you in the right path. You know what I'm saying? Because there's an indication of that spiritually. But this is spiritual warfare at the end of the day. And nobody is going to care about your walk, about your day-to-day, about, how responsible you are with your spiritual health. You have to be responsible for that. And then the music is ultimately what we use as a vehicle to gain the hearts and win the hearts of men and women that we know in our circles. Because our mandate is Matthew 28:19, go out and make disciples, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're supposed to be doing as kingdom music artists. We can't approach music the same way as everybody else, which means today, right? Like music means I do a track, I blow your head off, I kill your kids and your spouse, and now I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? I talk about, you know, drug use and abuse, and talk about what's cool and what's trending, and now I'm famous. I'm known for my music, and now I can get a bag. I can be rich in the next 6 months. But the key thing to remember in making your transition is that none of that can go with you, right? You know, you can do your best to set your family up, you know, for the rest of their lives if you can do that. But financial literacy, if you don't have it, your family's not going to have it. And that's just going to be a tremendous key for you. Understanding how to manage your resources. The third thing I would say is understanding that you may be called to 100 people, you may be called to 1,000 people, or you may be called to 1,000,000 people. But being an artist that talks about righteousness and love and grace and peace and the laws of God and the statutes of God, that's not popular. Like nobody wants to hear you talk about what God is thinking. Kingdom thinking is not a popular thing. And so if you're going to really do kingdom music or call yourself a kingdom music artist, because I don't say Christian hip hop, because Christian and Christianity can be connected to a lot of things that are wicked. And so when I communicate these things, I'm not really talking about what I'm not, I'm talking about what I am. And when it comes to me and music and a transition, I would say it didn't really happen for me because I've never put out or released anything secular, right? I was, you know, early on, started doing music really seriously around 26, 27. So it's 10 years later now. And my reward is not here. You know what I mean? Like my reward is not in the form of money when it comes to music, but more so the relationships and how rich they are. The people that I've been able to connect with that I know is after God's own heart. And so having a network of people also, additionally, that will be able to support you, not just from a music standpoint, but spiritually, right? Like being able to keep you in prayer and keep you lifted up as you sojourn through your space in music, like having a community of people, which is a big part of the reason why I do think in Kingdom Media, not to reject everybody that's rapping about shaking ass or selling drugs or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not rejecting that. You know what I'm saying? I know where you are, right? And so my goal is to meet you where you at and hopefully be a brother to you, you know, and somebody that you could pull on in your time of spiritual warfare. You know, hopefully I could pray for you. Hopefully I could show up in a capacity that nobody else can, because you know that this platform is a stable of faith. And, you know, and I would say this would be the last thing, making sure that your heart is without malice to the degree that it comes out in your music in a way that's wicked. Like, there's certain things that we can say and do, and then we just put God on it, and try to keep, you know, him at the center of it, but at the same time, what's in our hearts towards people, even towards who we deem to be the most high, is perverted in some kind of way. So just making sure that you ain't got nothing in your heart that will come out in your music and influence people to think, to have, you know, thinking that's not kingdom. You know what I mean? All of these things tie together, but the most important thing is just, like I said, the last one, just making sure that your heart is in the right place and really walking out what it is that you're talking about. Because you would not believe how many artists that I've met in these past 10, 11 years that I've done music with, and they're no longer in the faith. They still doing music, but they've fallen into apostasy. You know what I'm saying? And my prayer for you as an artist that's interested in doing music for God and doing, because I don't even like to say God either. You know what I mean? God, it could be anything. Anybody that's interested in doing music for the Most High, for Yahweh, man, just keeping the faith, man. It's just, you know what I'm saying? My prayer is that God would pull up, that the spirit of the Most High will pull up on you and let you know that it's real. I grew up in a small town called Somerton, South Carolina. And I remember being, just in my sin at that time, as young as I was. And I'm not saying it as if there isn't things that I struggle with to this day, because sanctification is a lifelong process. But when I was growing up in that small town called Somerton, South Carolina, being a kid that was born in Brooklyn and had spent his childhood years in New York, my first encounter with the unseen world happened while I was in a relationship with a girlfriend of mine, right? And was going to a small church, a holiness church down in the woods, right? In the rural areas of where I grew up. And I knew my pastor was pulling up on my girlfriend's grandmother's house. And he had a bottle, right? I'm talking about real life exorcism stuff going on, like, paranormal activity, whatever you want to call it. All I can tell you is at that age, when 19, 20 years old, I experienced the kingdom of darkness at war with the kingdom of light in somebody else's life. And where they shared with me and told me, hey, my grandmother's possessed, with it was demonic activity going on in their house. And my pastor, at the time, pulled up on that house and with holy water and the cross, and he was doing a real work that we see on movies, and we think it's a game and we think it's like not real, but demonic activity and demonic spirits, they actually are a real thing. Like, that's not like made up. Like, you could be driving in the car down the road, like today, I knew that the person that was in the car next to me had some demonic activity going on within them. They was in the car by themselves, but you can always see, like, once your eyes get opened up to it and you see it and you know it, like, you can see spirits moving in and out of people and working in and on people. And you could tell by their character and their fruits, the things that they say, the things that they do. And so, although I was doing my best to be a drug dealer and a whoremonger and doing all these different things, going to county jail for a night got me on the road. But my very first experience was knowing that there was actual demonic activity that was real, infecting real people that I knew. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to reinforce to you, it is a war, ultimately. Like, that's how you really transition. All those things that I named, but the transition really is knowing that this is a war between darkness and light. Okay? This, like in the air, like, this version of reality isn't as real as the reality that we cannot see. The unseen is more real than the seen. And so I just want to encourage you, the moment that you accept the fact that there is a war going on for the souls of the sons and daughters of men, you'll be able to write from a place that encourages a believer, that convicts a non-believer. And it won't be on your own merit. It won't be by your own spirit. It would be by the spirit of the Most High that's within you. And so, that's just my long answer. But I'm continue to encourage you in that. Just know that, you know, once you make that decision and you understand that you suiting up in the real war, there's gonna be attacks with that because you're so powerful. The version of you that the Most High created is powerful and can save many lives, many lives. So, you know, just stay encouraged and keep growing and building on what God is already doing. Because the fact that you asking the question is really the beginning, right, of you seeking the kingdom. And I'm glad that I could be a vessel that you could glean upon and see like, yo, this brother is doing music and he's doing music consistently about the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of Yah. And that's ultimately what you got to do. Just continue to build and seek, and everything that you're looking for, all your heart's desires will be added to you. It can't be for the Grammys. It can't be for the followers. It can't be for the likes. It's got to literally be for the sake of the contribution that you're making to the right side of the war that's actually going on. And you can't like get discouraged by the fact that there's so many people that's ignoring that war. Like, people play with it. People play with the fact that there are spiritual attacks happening every day. People play with the fact that the Most High doesn't exist, and all of that stuff that y'all building on and talking about and all these religions and stuff. Like, it's not even a real thing. There's a group of people that believe that. And so, you know, it's not unusual for you to experience attacks, experience frustration, experience a strong desire to grow, and not being able to find fountains and wells that come in the form of people of light around enough. You'll be surprised how many people are literally in their Bibles being attacked, in their churches being attacked, in their families being attacked, in their homes being attacked. So just, you know, stay encouraged is all I would tell you. And the step that you would need to take after asking the question is accepting that this is really a war going on. All right? Peace and grace. Is Darius to you again. It's Think Kingdom Media. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, do everything that you need to do to make sure this content gets passed to somebody that you know. And if you felt like this was encouraging and it was something that would help you, make sure you share it with somebody that you love. All right?